This is Brian from the soon-to-be champion Skybusters, and you are listening to Josh and Gar on the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix on Spotify.
That is right. Thank you, Brian. It is Tuesday, December 6th, 2022. It is 8 p.m. sharp, and Christmas lights are shining bright. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. I am one of your lovely hostesses, the Garlic Johnson. I am joined, as almost always, by our other lovely hostess, the Joshua Mitchell. Josh, say hi to the folks out there.
Stage fright. Hi, folks.
Oh, no. Don't forget about the Discord. We appreciate everyone who chats along with us. Playoffs are coming. We're all excited about that. Segment start times down in the description below. And thank you at Levi Oki Illustration for all the beautiful art you can see. Josh, how you doing? And welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. I had a bye week. So, like I said, got a little stage fright. It's always got that return jitters. Did you have your bye week yet, or?
No, I don't believe in such a thing. That sounds like NIMBY pansy stuff, and I work 365 days a year, Josh.
Yeah, well, I wish I could say the same, but the union, budget cuts, government.
Why were you gone? Do you want to let the folks know or no?
So Tuesday, I was gone last week because illness had been flourishing in our household for quite some time. Nikita had to go to urgent care after work. I didn't know when she'd be back, so I let you know ahead of time when I found out. She did end up getting back in time to where I'd be able to scramble and have a podcast, but I didn't want to put a subpar product out for the people. Plus, I'd already messaged you, so I figured you'd be upset, or not upset, but, inconvenienced, and I didn't want to do that. And then with all the sickness, I didn't know if I was going to go out of town or not. And so I didn't want to tell you I was and then change my mind. And so when I did realize, okay, I'm going to be gone on Saturday, I'll text Garlic. And so I texted you as I was driving because I literally woke up Thursday morning and said, I'm going out of town. So I took Asher, tried to kidnap him, and we went to Nebraska to visit my grandpapa for his 90th birthday. And Asher got to meet his great grandpa.
Cool. And so that was on Thursday, or I guess when did you get home?
Yeah, I drove down Thursday, came back Saturday. So it was a very quick visit, but we got to spend some time together. It's been a few years since I've been down there, and my grandpa has never met Asher yet, so it was important to have that happen. And so we just, it worked out to where this weekend was kind of planned. My mom was down there. So I made the drive down with Asher, which went surprisingly a lot better than I expected. Typically, it's a 7.5 hour drive, and we made it there in 8 hours, made it back in 8 hours. So we only had to stop for dinner, which just so happened to be McDonald's on the way there and on the way back.
Shout out. Little McNug action. What did we get? What was off the menu? I have to know.
On the way down, we got him a Kids Cheesy with a Wakanda Forever toy. Obviously, my toy.
Obviously.
And he pounded it. That kid can eat. So he ate the entire hamburger and all the fries. He asked me to go through the drive-thru for an ice cream cone, and I said, nah, you're a baby. And so we left it at that. On the way home, he had the 4-piece chicken nuggies and some fries, and then I had a McFlurry because I don't know about you, Gar, but when you go on a road trip, anything more than 2 hours, there's kind of a snack requirement. And let's just say that an hour into our road trip on the way home, I bought snacks that were supposed to last me the entire trip, and the next hour and a half were...
Nikita, I'm hungry.
Nikita didn't go. She was sick.
Oh, that's right.
So
Asher, I'm hungry.
So yep, it was literally, do I start stealing my child's goldfish? What if we get stranded and that's all we have to survive? And
your
so
final
I didn't,
nourishment of goldfish.
I didn't, but I did eat a package of Twizzlers pull and peel because those are the best. The cherries are the best. And a thing of Muddy Buddies because why not?
Delicioso, dude.
Yeah, but that was my weekend, so I apologize for the inconvenience. I did listen to the pod, or listen to parts of the pod when Nikita played it for me because she wanted me to hear you guys talk her up in FanDuel. Walters sounded like he had gargled gravel for about an hour before the show, so I appreciate that. Living up to the hype. But yeah, it sounded like a good one. How was your week?
My week was pretty good. I mean, nothing really eventful happened. I mean, I feel like it's calm before the storm. This weekend I get to go hang out with Jesse up in Duluth for a bit. So Saturday's pod will be coming live from Duluth. Saturday morning, Saturday night. I know you said you got something going on Saturday morning, so we'll figure that out. Either I'll go solo or I'll find Walters, or you and me do something Saturday later on. We'll figure out what we got to do. But the show will go on as it always does. But yeah, I'll be in Duluth this weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. But the past week I've had has been pretty boring, pretty tame.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew.
Are you?
Go
So
ahead.
we had. So Friday night we had plans; those got canceled. So, if you're available Friday night, I know sometimes you work. I would be able to podcast Friday evening.
I'll be driving to Duluth at that point, but we will see. I guess it depends what time I get to Duluth. But yeah, and I was just going to say, I knew since the last Tuesday's pod was moved around this and that, if I didn't spend a good 5 to 10 minutes, like, trying to make it up to Nikita, because who knows if she's going to be in the top 3 again, like, for the week. Of course, she's still in the top 3 for the standings, which we'll get to in a bit. But if I didn't sit there and stroke Nikita's ego for a while, I would never hear the end of it, and you know how Nikita can be. So I was like, I have to work this into the pod. So that had to happen. Otherwise, she would have never forgiven me.
Rightfully so. But yeah, no. So I say we move on. We've vamped for about 6 minutes, and I think I want to hear about Gar's grinder.
All right, Josh, we got a grinder this week, and it is a beautiful one. We're talking about them Brownies, that Browns defense. They only allowed 12 points. I believe it was in Houston, off the top of my head. They were playing, of course, Deshaun Watson playing his former team, but the Browns D really stole the show. They're like, you want some headlines about massages? Nah, massage this. 12 points, only 12 points allowed, 1 forced fumble with a fumble recovery, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 2 tackles for a loss. Depending on what your fantasy scoring settings are, I've seen a bunch of different screenshots. Of course, it's different for everyone, but in some leagues they had north of like 34 points. I mean, 2 tuds is huge when you're not allowing a lot of points and you're not allowing a lot of yards.
3 tuds.
In theory. Oh, was it 3 tuds?
They had a punt return.
Oh, so it's also, I must have just seen the defensive scoring. So a total of 3 touchdowns then with the special teams as well. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so that's 18 points right there. That's insane. So the entire Browns defense gets to be Gar's grinder this week. But I see we also have a Josh's. I don't know. We've never come with a good alliteration for that, but we've got a Josh's honorable mention here in the grinder.
Yeah, I mean, this was going to be. I saw the Browns D and I was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I'll allow it. It's not just one grinder; it's an 11-person grinder, but it's Urban Meyer's dream. I just had to give a shout out to Purdy, man, coming in, filling in for the Jimmy Garoppolo broken foot.
Not broken.
He did well. Yeah, it is.
Nah.
Well, not okay. He doesn't require
Liz Frank
surgery,
now,
but
yeah,
Liz Frank injury. But Brock Purdy came in, Mr. Irrelevant, showed everybody he should be a little irrelevant. I enjoyed watching him play. I thought that he had a good energy about him. I loved the fact he loved being out there, it seemed. And he had some good plays, They talked a little bit about it. He came in and he balled out for a little bit.
Is this going to be the true form of the Brock Lobster, or will he eventually end up like the Brock Osweiler?
He could be anywhere. Well, I was going to say he could be anywhere from Brock Osweiler to Russell Wilson, but that's about the same person nowadays.
No.
So
Yeah, both played for Denver. Tough, dude.
But no, I mean, whatever. Who cares if he comes in and he's serviceable for the remainder of the season? That defense has enough weapons to keep them, keep the opponents from scoring, and then that offense has enough weapons to where he just has to kind of listen to what Kyle Shanahan shouts in his ear. If Jared Goff can be a starter and do well in the
85.
NFL, Brock Purdy is going to be just fine. But I had to give him a shout out. I think he had 1 interception, a couple touchdowns, and like 100% fun.
Yeah, when a defense is totally 0% prepared, obviously those backups sometimes have the advantage if the game script looks pretty different. But we'll see what he looks like as the full-time starter now. But let's move on here to the rant and the rave, Josh. We all saw it. We don't care if it's a meme or not. We can take things out of context for headlines. This is what we do here. We are a media organization, Josh. Are Rodgers and Kanye G chilling, dude? What's going on?
Who's Kanye G?
No, Kanye is it. Rodgers and Kanye G chilling. Like G chilling is a thing.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, G chilling must be one of these newfound snowflake terms. But Rodgers and Kanye, they probably support the same presidential candidates,
Kanye
aka
himself.
Kanye.
Yeah.
Yep. But I don't know. They're probably both on some mimosa flavored crystals and doing whatever they want to do at
Josh,
this
are you
point in
beating
time. It's
around
their
the
bye
bush
week.
here? You saw the pictures, right?
I actually did not. I have not been on
Roger's
Reddit
giving
all.
Roger's giving the old Heil, dude. The old Nazi salute. You didn't see the picture?
No wonder he clean shaved. He's growing that out.
No, I
bringing
think
it
I
back.
think it was, if I saw correctly, I think it was like on the outstretch after, like he did like if I remember correctly, I think he did like a salute, and then like he did the salute and then put his arm out straight, and so it's a bit of an out of context picture, but obviously Kanye with all the anti-Semitic stuff he's putting out literally was just on Alex Jones the other day saying how much he loves Hitler about 12 times. So then I was just trying to make some sort of anti-Semitic joke with Rogers, but if you're not in the know, then you kind of ruined the bit. Thanks, guy.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. I'm sure Paul Allen posted that picture 100 times going, look at this idiot. Goal.
Is Paul Allen on the podcast right now? Was that a cameo? Are you Paul Allen?
Yeah, I paid for cameo. Asked him to say skull, but apparently he can't talk.
Skull. All right, but yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that Rogers Heil bit. What do we think about the tie coming out of the NFC Beast? Was that a big conspiracy? The Giants and the Commanders, were they like, all right, if one of us loses here, we take a big chunk in our playoff chances. Also, the Lions are coming on hot. Was there a big conspiracy in the NFC East to deny the Lions their rightful shot at the playoffs?
Yeah, I think I saw the carrier pigeon floating between the sidelines, and I think that they did exchange a few letters.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, they know that I think it was like a 40% drop if one of them lost. And so they're like, you know what, let's just keep this. So then people will say the darling Lions are going to make the playoffs, and everyone will be like, okay, yeah, go Lions. And then week 18, when the Lions lose and Green Bay wins and Green Bay makes it in the playoffs as they share their record, the world goes nuts as Rodgers leads the Green Bay Packers to back-to-back-to-back Super Bowl championships.
Just like
go
that,
Packers.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. Disney's already got the movie rights.
Well, there we go. Shout out to Disney. All right, so we both agree there's a conspiracy between the Commanders and the Giants. What about the Cowboys? Are they unstoppable? If you blinked, I think it was 21-19, like starting the fourth quarter at the end of the third quarter. You blink and it's 53-19. Are the Cowboys unbeatable at this point? Have they hit their stride? Everyone's healthy now?
Well, they did play the Colts. So take that like as you will. The Colts have been a dumpster fire this season, it seems. So it's whatever.
I mean, they beat up on the Giants on Thanksgiving. They beat up on the Vikings a couple weeks before that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Cowboys, they're a solid team for sure. Dak's been playing well.
How much does it hurt you to say that?
Well, see, when the clapper was there, it would have pained me. But when it's Big Mike and his barbecue stained overalls, it's just fine. But I'm not a fan of the Ewok, so it's nice to see Pollard getting his touches and doing well. I guess Zeke has been doing okay, given his usage. Dak's been doing all right. They're apparently not going to sign Odell, or if they do, it's just going to be kind of as like a trophy because he's not playing until late January. But whatever.
All right,
they'll lose in the playoffs to Green Bay when Green Bay makes it.
Thought the Packers were dead, Josh. You're very inconsistent this year with your Green Bay takes.
Well, I just got done watching Wednesday on Netflix, and if there's one thing I learned in that show, it's dead things are cool. So go Packers.
All right, shout out. Let's move into the weekly recap here, Josh. Everyone knows you've coming into this week. You've had a really good fantasy season. They missed your weekly recap last week. So very quickly, if you want to touch on last week, you can. Otherwise, how'd you do this week? How salty is your grain of salt, Josh? And how are we looking for the playoffs that are right around the corner?
Last week was a bit of a struggle fest. I did curse myself. Like I said if I win one more head-to-head matchup, I'd have the league lead. I lost last week and this week, so I don't. It feels dirty if I were to win this week and say, oh, yeah, I have the most regular season wins because we've added a week in the past 2 years. So that dream is dead. I did win against the median, but last week I went 2-4. This week I went 4-2. So I'm still hovering right around that 66% win with 52-26 overall. Using the intellectual property of Joshua Allen Bunker Incorporated, I am 468-247. So just below that 60%, or I'm at 65.5%.
What you're telling me is your 66% is a fraud, dude. Look at that, 1.2% less in the real deal. Are you a fraud?
Yes, in some cases. I will say that it does hurt when I look at Butt Sweat and Beers League, where I'm 9-2 against everybody, and I just so happen to lose this week because
Tough,
why
brother.
not play the top scorer? And then that one was a pain, but a leading scorer and deflate these balls. How you doing?
I mean, Eric's
Cleveland
already
defense.
making some changes that are pretty controversial. Should we just throw in wins against the median too, so you don't have to deal with that bad beat, or what? Just completely change the whole league in 1 year?
I don't know. Maybe we should. I did join this season, and then now things are happening to where it might implode. Either that, or Mika shaves his beard just a tad short. It's possible, but isn't Jonklin's your rival, or is it Jono?
Yeah, Jono, whatever.
Yeah,
the British fuck.
Jono. Yeah, I have a feeling that he's behind it all. Still bitter over the Boston Tea Party. And so the Queen died. He's got all these excuses on why he sucks, but it's yeah. We'll blame we'll do it the American way and just blame the foreigners.
Right, that's what I feel, dude. And I do feel for Mika because, of course, in his, I guess we don't have to get into it. I get what he's saying. Like, he wants it to be quote unquote fair. That's what he just keeps preaching is fair. But I think he just means fair for him because he feels shafted because he only has like the one really good quarterback. But we will not have to go there because I'm sure Mika will listen to this and then message me privately and be hurt because Mika can be sensitive sometimes. But I get it, dude. The league's changing and you don't feel like it's fair. I understand.
I mean, I'm in the same. I agree with him on that. It's changing. It's not fair, but at the same time, I'm one of the people that benefit from it not being fair. So I'm okay with it. I did throw out a suggestion in the chat. I do think that is a little bit easier way of making things fair, even if it is a little probably more difficult to implement. But whatever. I'd be happy to help if Eric's were to take a look at that and enjoy it.
I mean,
just for the
isn't what you suggested pretty much what he's kind of doing already? Like everyone keeps one and then they have the option to buy another one. So you just said everyone keeps two, but they can only keep one. If they only keep one, they get extra. It's pretty similar, isn't it?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. So like if they were to keep two, they wouldn't have to buy back their quarterback. So everybody starts with the same amount of money. But if you only keep one of the quarterbacks, so let's just say you had somebody who, I don't know, middle-aged quarterback doing well. Who would you classify that as? Not Justin Herbert. He's still too young for that. I'm trying to think of quarterbacks. Yeah, like maybe a Kirk Cousins or a Derek Carr, and you wanted to keep them, but then you drafted a rookie, and you're like, well, okay, I kind of want to hold him. Then you hold both of them, and you don't have to buy for that second one, but you don't get any of that bonus pot. But the bonus pot's determined on the second guy you hold. So if the rookie you hold on to is only worth $1, you're only essentially paying $1 for him. I don't know. Yeah, I just made it up on the fly, so it literally took me a minute to type up.
My favorite part was the bake sale ideal, just because I want to lick the spoon. That's all I really cared about. Yeah,
no, thank you for volunteering to host that. I appreciate you.
No.
I didn't know you knew how to make it.
I'll be at your house and I'll lick your wife's spoon. Can I say that on a podcast, or should I just get canceled?
No, you got canceled, erased, eradicated.
Be very clear,
Roger
I did
saluted.
mean the literal spoon. Nikita is a great baker. But yeah, no, just for context, I know this is going to be out of context for all our listeners. There's one of the dynasty leagues we're in. They want to move to Superflex, and so it's just a very interesting thing to live through. And I don't know. I don't think the league will implode. Of course, there's going to be some dissenting voices and this and that because change is different. And what Eric's has said that he's already talked to a bunch of people who have made the change. And so most people say you should make that change really slowly. But then what Eric said was that 6 of the people he talked to, or 6 of the 7 people he talked to, was like, yeah, actually looking back, like we shouldn't have made it that slow. It just like the dynamic was already there. We should have just made the change much faster. And so Eric's is like everyone who's never gone through it is like, well, we should do it like this. And then Eric's is talking to the people who've already gone through it. They're like, well, based on my experience, I think this would be best. So there's really ultimately no right answer, but it's going to be interesting. But yeah, one of our dynasty leagues is going from 1 QB to Superflex without it'll dynamically change the league, but at the same time, we're not like trying to rebalance the league. We're not trying to do this or that. So it's just trying to how to go through that process while maintaining the same league and the same-ish teams. It's an interesting thing. But yeah, so that's the context, and it'll be exciting. And I feel bad for Eric's, but I also feel bad for Mick and other people. But we can move on here, Josh.
It stinks. Yeah. I think just one more comment on it. The only fair way to do it is to just reset everything and redraft. But that would upset more people than what Eric's is currently doing.
Good teams right now. Like I'd be like, I'm the second best team. I don't like that.
Nice try.
Gosh,
you're right. You're right. It wouldn't be fair. That's what I was saying. Is that's the only fair way of doing things, but it's also the most unfair to the people who have been in the league for a while.
Right. Yeah, it's very controversial, but like I said, I really hope I hope the league, it seems like the league's going to be fine. It's just really the two people who are really loudest in dissent. So assuming the league's fine, it'll be very exciting to live through because I think that's more unique than not. Anyways, my grain of salt, Josh, I've been coming on hot lately. It's probably too little too late, but I was able to play spoiler in a couple leagues. In one of my leagues, or I guess in two of my leagues, I beat the first place team. So, suck it, Mr. Landvik, and then suck it, Aaron, who will never listen to this podcast. But in a couple of leagues, I'm already out of the playoffs in. I beat the first place teams, so that felt good, just as a little fuck you. I went 5-3 last week, went 7-1 this week. My head-to-head record is 56-48, so I'm batting 5.39 there. And then when you use the intellectual property of Joshua Allen Bunker Incorporated, I am 5.42 and 5.51, so just 4.96 there. Only two of my teams are above 50%, and they're both in the 60s. So really only two good teams, two good dynasty teams. I'm catching fire a little too late. And in the Champs Branch Out League, that's the playoffs start this week, so we can allow it for a 2-week championship game. And, I have players on bye week, so I knew that coming in, but I didn't think I'd make it this far either. So you win some, you lose some. And, I'm excited that I made the playoffs. I'm in the 5th seed. I got hot late there. You can see I rattled off 8 wins in a row in the Champs Branch Out League, both against the median and against my head-to-head matchup. So it was good to turn things around, but it's probably too little too late. So we'll see what my dynasty teams can do in the playoffs here. This is definitely a lost fantasy season for me, without a doubt. You want to go through the FanDuel top 3 there, Josh?
Yeah, I gotta hang on. My potatoes loading the notes. So weekly recap for the FanDuel top 3. Top 3 fantasy points, Jalen Hurts with 34.4. Then we've got the top 2, Devontae Adams with 33.7, and Joe Burrow with 30.04. Top 3 values, Browns were a 6 times value with their dominant performance. Then the 49ers defense with a solid 4.2 times value. And then Devontae Adams with a 3.9 times value. Top 3 weekly totals, Kenny Goldenstein with 144.64. Garlic Johnson with 140.44. And Midget with 133.58.
You're afraid to say Shitabyss? What's wrong with Shitabyss?
I can't read. I thought that's what I thought. I read it right. Top 3 leaderboard. Garbanzo's Balls, 1,287.18. Wife, 1,266.38. And then Walters, 1,263.46. So getting a little narrow in the top 3. Only 24 points separate them all. And obviously, coming in 4th, we've got me with 1,262. Check the leaderboard.
That's not true. You're in 10th, buddy.
Yeah,
I jumped up to like
faltered.
6th or 4th or something, or 5th maybe.
Yeah, I told Nikita the other night when we were looking at it, I was like, I think if I rattle off 4 straight weeks of 140 plus, I'll get top 5.
Brag about it, Josh. Geez, save some for the rest of us, brother.
Yeah. Maybe medical minute. I'm guessing we have nothing, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that broken bones are painful. Brought to you by Nada.
Oh, God. I just deleted more than I wanted to there. There we go. Josh, all right, go ahead and intro me the Hoodlines, though, because I do have some this week. It's been a lot of weeks, but we are back with the playoffs around. We will be back with the Hoodlines each week, but go ahead and vamp me in here and make sure to mention our beautiful, handsome sponsor.
What's that up in the sky? It's something. It's busting. It's the Skybusters. Hoodlines, brought to us by Skybusters. Newsy music.
Tonight, winners can't seal the deal. Top teams across the league fail to secure the one and only bye, leaving it up for grabs in Week 14. In other news, a brotherly brawl results in a close matchup. Both defenses were stout and played hard, but eventually offense won the day on the shoulders of A.J. Brown. Next, the chubby population is in danger as Christianity closes in to be the most oppressed group in the hood. More on that at McDonald's. And finally, in our main story tonight, the Starship is running out of fuel with only a projected 3% chance to make the playoffs. So you're saying there's a chance? More coverage of this story Saturday at 8. All that and more right now. Hoodlines. We're back, baby. Not my best work, but you just had to get back in the game, and playoffs are here. So, yeah, Josh, the side bet this week was the lazy side bet, and Hammer won that, a.k.a. the Christians. He had a league-high 167.7, and that was on the shoulders of the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who put up 34.6 full PPR points. That's tough. And but Josh, going back to the very first line there, the winners can't seal the deal. You, Nikita, and Eric, I believe, are all up there tied at 19. Or no, you and Eric are at 19-7. Nikita's right behind you at 18-8. None of you could seal the deal. All three of you lost your head-to-head matchups. What's the deal here? Why can't you guys separate from each other?
Well, Gar, remember when we were going over the
No.
Joshua Allen Bunker Incorporated intellectual property, and I had talked to you a little bit about how my head-to-heads were a little bit of a disappointment, but then my overalls. I did win against the median in Hidden Oaks, but I lost to my opponent. In the Hidden Oaks redraft league, I would have gone 9-4. So I just drew that short straw. I played Jamie the 1 week that her team actually decided to score points.
Whoa. That's 9-17, Jamie, okay? That's 9 wins, buddy.
Yep. No, I know. She's the inverse of my record of 19-7. But yeah, it was a little bit of a disappointment. Obviously, I put up 132.5. Thought I was going to do well. She put up 147.9, I think, in just the afternoon in the early games, which was just kind of like a painful thing to witness. Mm-hmm. She had, Geno Smith go off in that afternoon game, Garrett Wilson, who torched the Minnesota Vikings. And then, so at that point, I'm like, well, I'm done. And then Devontae Adams gave me all that hope with his 37-point performance. CeeDee Lamb scored early, and that was it. So, yeah, I thought maybe I had a chance, but yeah, in the end, Deebo Samuel getting 12 kind of ruined it.
All right, very quickly talking playoff scenarios here. We can get more into it on Saturday, but just what do you feel right now? Just give me your quick thoughts, and then again we'll talk about it more Saturday as we preview the week in the games.
Well, fantasy is known for its perennial disappointment in my eyes, and so I'm guaranteed to not get the bye week and then lose round one. And after that, it really doesn't matter. I think at that point the league just kind of gives up.
I'm talking about the whole league gives up. So because you lose, the whole league's done. You don't want to give anyone else's potential scenarios here, or not scenarios, but chances. I mean, look, that's a pretty handsome team in 11th there. That's still got a chance according to the percentages.
Yeah, no, that handsome team. Did you drop your third round pick before or after he got hurt? And so, or was it your second round pick? I forget. But yeah, I mean, Nikita, I love her. She's had a great season, but she might have just lost Lamar for a couple weeks. She lost Cooper Kupp. And so she's going into the week with, without her, top two picks, essentially. Aaron Jones isn't on a bye. And so she's going to have a hard time, this week at least. She could get lucky, strike gold. And then in the playoffs, if she doesn't have Lamar back, that's going to be kind of a pain. But, I think that of teams that I see in this list, Eric has a really good team. I do think that it's solid. The Tom Brady horseshoe has not left the building, I guess. Josh Jacobs had a solid season, or has had a surprise season, and then you just got Jamar Chase back.
Surprise, so not a surprise if you were listening to me all preseason, dude. I knew Jacobs was coming.
Yeah, well, he was my dud for the year, so I'm glad that I lost that kiss of death on the duds. I don't think any of my duds are correct, so yay. Because that was really painful to watch last year, even though it made me feel a little bit good about knowing that was the answer. Also made me feel bad because I picked my players. But yeah, so what do you think? Are anything that's sticking out to you in this playoff scenario?
No, I mean right now, Brian. We'll talk about it more on Saturday. Right now, Brian's on the cusp, and it's Brian's to lose, and so we'll break down what the matchups are on Saturday. But right now, it's looking like it'll be for sure. It's going to be Eric, Josh, Nikita, and T, and Derek and Bradley. So it's really just the last spot that's up for grabs between Brian and Hammer. And like I said, it is Brian's to lose. So we'll see. And also, I just really wanted to play this soundbite because we have it, and it only comes up so many times in a year, and you didn't perfectly set me up, so I just have to play it now. Out of context almost, but
no, we are not eliminated. I am very calm.
But you're
and we are going to methodically come back and win this thing.
3% chance to make the playoffs. All I need is Brian to lose, Hammer to lose, Prib to lose, Willie to lose, and I need to outscore Brian by what I say, 76, 86? Easy. We got this. Let's go, Jefferson Starship. Let's go. But we got to move on here, Josh. And I ate a jelly bean, and this was a mistake because it's very...
very sticky in your teepees?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I just want to call out Walters. I mean, I've gotten, I've fallen into the trap of getting confident in my team and like bragging about my players, bragging about my team, only to have it come back and bite me in the end. This guy he must walk around with miniature mirrors just to throw at the ground because this past week he puts out a message trying to act all nonchalant. What's the record for a single season points per game? and that was after he put up 147 in like a standard, which wasn't even the top score I think this year. And so I did a little bit of math and I go, well, Walters, if you were to put up 150 next week, you'd be in the top 3. You'd be in the conversation for top 3 overall because I ran the stats earlier this year. And so it's just like, well, okay. And he's like, congrats to Ben on locking up the bye week. I'd be really surprised if I didn't lock up the second one. So it's just like, you know what, Walters? I want you to just get eliminated from the playoffs before they start. Commissioner, make it happen. Tyler, you don't listen to this.
No, he doesn't. We gotta get going here, Josh. We gotta move on very quickly. Worthy waivers. Who do you like? Do you think any league winners? I mean, anyone who's in the playoffs, should they be picking up James Cook, DJ Dallas, Tyler Huntley, or Brock Purdy? Couple running backs there, couple quarterbacks there that are being thrust into the starting role. Maybe ready for it, maybe not. But fantasy playoffs are here, or maybe someone's right on the cusp. They need to win. Should they pick up any of these people, or no?
Well, I think Tyler Huntley is a solid option because he has shown that he can do it as the starter, and he did it filling in for Lamar. So he's a pretty solid option to add if you're desperate for quarterback. I'm not going to add James Cook again, not for the third time.
He just put up 16 points in full PPR, Josh. Come on.
Yeah, well, maybe I should, but I don't think he's available in our league.
He's sitting on my bench.
And then DJ Dallas, I guess I don't know what's the timetable for a jammed ankle, since that's what they're officially calling it.
I don't know. I mean, I imagine he misses at least this week.
Well, okay, so there goes my chances of beating Falk and deflate these balls and I
need you to beat him, Josh.
2 seed.
That's cute. You think you'll sneak into the 2 seed? That's adorable.
Well, I have a better chance than you.
What do you mean? You're in what, 5th right now? I'm in 3rd.
Yeah, well, nobody's counting. I'm trying to pull it up right now.
I literally just beat Falk this week.
I'm in 4th. If you lose and I win, I only need to outscore you by 13 points.
Bring it on, mother trucker.
And I need to outscore Falk by 20.
So okay, so you said nay to James Cook, yay to Tyler Huntley, DJ Dallas, assuming he's starting this week.
If he's starting, yeah, add him.
Brock?
James Cook's probably worth an add if you're desperate and you're in a deeper league like us. Brock Purdy, probably go Tyler Huntley first, but I feel like there's going to be better options out there than him.
They're also playing the Broncos, I believe, or someone. I don't know who's playing. Or maybe it was the Tampa Bay, but I don't know. Who are they playing? They're playing Tampa Bay. San Fran's playing Tampa Bay. That changes your answer.
Not really. I think that, once he gets a little bit of preparation, I think that, he looks solid out there. I did say that earlier, but now that he's getting a week under his belt, he's got a lot more time to, get in his own head. Defenses have a little bit more time to, game plan for what he may have put up on tape in this one game. So it's going to be, I'm hoping he does well because it would be a cool story that Mr. Irrelevant comes in there and plays solid against Tampa Bay. But at the same time, I don't think I'm willing to risk a fantasy season on it. So, yeah.
There you go. Good answer. All right, Josh, outro. We thank everyone for listening. We will be back here Saturday at 8, we'll be back here Saturday. I know Josh has something going on, so we'll figure that out. Maybe Friday night, maybe Saturday. We'll be back before the Sunday games. How's that? We'll be back for sure with another pod. I'll go solo if I have to. It don't matter. We thank everyone who chats in the Discord. See you Saturday morning. Segment start times are down there, but you're already at the end of the podcast. So that doesn't fucking matter. Thank you, Levi Oki. Josh, you haven't done the obituaries in quite some time. Are you going to do one for Ryan?
Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan just died in Brad's Guillotine League. Former Madden League player.
Oh, so Jalen was last
Connor's
week's?
friend. Yeah, Jalen was last week's. Yep.
Oh, huh.
You know,
Must have been a short week.
You were Jesus.
Yeah, no, I wasn't here. Ryan, we had the opportunity of playing fantasy together a few times. I'm very sad to hear of your passing. Probably won't attend the funeral. Gotta wash my car. When you did play against me in fantasy, I did make sure to embarrass you. I don't necessarily recall 100% accurately, but I do believe my record against you is 14-0. You traded me Joe Mixon, which I appreciate. I think I traded you a box of crayons. The fact that you lost your head is no surprise. If you were willing to make that trade, I'm sure you were willing to trade your head for another box of crayons because you ate the first one. R.I.P. in peace, Ryan. Skull Packers.